Hello, I'm Jay Parker, a Monarch Mind Control survivor and overcomer, and this is another video I'm doing to inform people of the danger of the New World Order and the generational Satanists that control our world. They are known as the Illuminati. I grew up in a Illuminati pedophile village in Arden, Delaware. It poses as a former art colony, but in fact it is 90% Marquis of Hell adherents. That is a demon they worship. They practice pedophilia constantly, mind control that is monitored by the CIA with their CIA psychologists taking reports on the children, going through the torture and abuse of Monarch Mind Control. Those reports were gathered when I was there by a psychologist from the University of Pennsylvania by the name of Gordon Pizer. I'll have more to say about him later. All I can say about Arden is they are the how do you put this? The residue of the old religion from the Middle East and Europe, going back probably 5,000 years. People look at the Aztec and Mayan civilizations and they say, look at those crazy people doing hundreds of thousands of human sacrifices. You need to look at the history of the Middle Eastern religions from thousands of years ago. That's particularly the religion of Molech. Molech is a deity based on the astrotheology of the Taurus age, the age of Taurus. He's shaped like a bull, and they would make giant statues of Molech. He would have a bull's head, and Molech would have, in this hollow giant statue, would have cubicles, openings in it, where you could place your infants and your small children, and then light a fire at the base of the idol and burn your children as a burnt offering to Molech. There is a group of people in San Francisco called the Bohemian Club, and once a year they go into a redwood forest in Northern California, and all of the highest industrialists, top industrialists and politicians in the United States and throughout the world go and celebrate in the woods of Northern California in the Bohemian Club reserve there, and they have a mock human sacrifice called the cremation of care. And let me assure you that while they are doing a mock human sacrifice, behind closed doors, a real sacrifice is taking place. If you were to go into the woods of Arden or into the woods of the Bohemian Grove Reserve in Northern California with a ground-penetrating radar, you would find thousands of bodies. I gave several talks, and I'm going to continue talking about this subject because the human race is being attacked by the Illuminati elite. 6% of the world's population are primary psychopaths. They consider themselves to be genetically different than the rest of the human race. They consider themselves to be gods. And indeed, in some ways, they are. That 6% of the human race controls 90% of the land of the planet Earth and 90% of the money of the planet Earth. The other 96%, 94% of the human race has to fight over 10% of the resources. Hence, it's easy to start a war because they have established, due to their hoarding of resources, a system of scarcity which keeps the majority of the public population in the world in a state of panic. Growing up in Arden, I was subjected to years of traumatic sexual abuse, physical torture with cattle prods and electrical car batteries, being locked into closets and small boxes for days, being drugged and hypnotized, along with 90% of the children in Arden I grew up with. I'm now making these tapes because when you look at the New World Order plan, which you can find in the film by Alex Jones called Endgame, you see something called Agenda 21. The UN's Agenda 21 is basically a plan to herd humanity into compact hell cities as they are slowly killed, soft-killed, while rewilding the majority of land on the planet. Those rewilded areas, of course, will be open to the Illuminati elite, but closed to the public. The Illuminati elite, the primary psychopaths that interbreed, I don't believe can be cured of their psychopathy. But the 30 million, or 10% of the human population, that is mind-controlled in the monarch system to obey the elite and be their minions, they have followed this system due to generational torture and mind control. They can recover their minds and their hearts using Cathy O'Brien's system of retrieval of their consciousness. She writes about this in the book Transformation of America, and she also writes it in her book Access Denied. In Access Denied, she talks about her journey with her husband Mark Phillips in recovering from monarch mind control. And one of the primary things you need to do if you're a mind control victim is to write out your traumas. When you write something out by hand, it forms 28 neural pathways. When you type something, it only forms 3 neural pathways. Those new neural pathways you form by writing an experience out gives you an objective look at the experience. Once you achieve an objective, unemotional viewpoint of that experience, then you can use EFT or any other of the psychology tapping modalities, acupressure tapping modalities, and actually remove the imprint in your subconscious of the traumatic mind control ritual. I've used EFT to regain my life from the monarch mind control programming, and I've used Cathy O'Brien's writing technique to also facilitate my freedom from the mind control. The reason that I'm coming out and talking about what goes on in Arden, Delaware, and what goes on in Rose Valley, Pennsylvania, both Marquis of Hell colonies, where when I lived there it was 90% of the population was dark Illuminati pedophile mass murderers, and 10% were normal everyday people. The reason I'm coming out is the human race is being exterminated slowly. Chemtrails are being sprayed in the sky, millions of tons of aluminum, barium, and strontium. This heavy metal poisoning of our land, our air, our water is going to have catastrophic effects on the alkalinity of the water and the soil. Once the soil gets to be more of an acid than an alkaline, you're going to see trees, plants, nothing will be able to grow. Nothing except Monsanto's new genetically modified seeds that can grow in an aluminum poisoned environment. There's the only thing that'll grow. Once that happens, and it's coming, you eat that stuff, you might as well eat arsenic because you're done. GMO is poison. Let me go into the prime motivating reasons why I'm talking about this. The 30 million generational Satanists that are the minions of the elite, Rockefellers, Du Ponts, Morgans, Rothschilds, have been told for generations that if they cooperate with this corrupt system, when the New World Order takes over humanity and removes the vast majority of ignorant people, which if you look at the Agenda 21 map, you'll figure out there's no room for you or your family on that map. You're not going to be here. And when this happens, they're told by the elite, cooperate with us and you'll share in the harvest of us taking over the world. Well, you're drinking the fluoride, sodium fluoride that's in the water. They didn't tell you not to drink it. Sodium fluoride is a neurotoxin. Sodium fluoride is a cancer-causing agent. You and your family are ingesting that in processed foods. Your body is intaking it every time you take a shower without a filter. You're drinking it every day. The Nazis and the Soviets used sodium fluoride in the drinking water to dumb down the inmates in their concentration camps. And now it's being used en masse in America to dumb down and make the population docile and obedient. If you want to know where the Illuminati enclaves are, you have to learn symbolism and learn the history of the dark occult. When you see a name like Rose Valley, well, if you knew that the Tudors, Henry Tudor, Henry VIII, was the monarch of England that sold out England to the dark Venetian bankers, the Illuminati bankers. And once they took over England, England became the war machine that dominated the world. And now America is the war machine that obeys the City of London. We have got to awake and find out what we are and where we are. My talks about the Illuminati and about the pedophile enclaves that are energetically poisoning the holographic matrix that we are in. Many people think that we are in a real world. This is far from the truth. We are in a matrix, very similar to the Matrix in the movie The Matrix. Reality is simply neurotransmitted signals to your brain. That's all reality is. You can go to a website called theuniversesolved.com, and there's a book available that will teach you some of the physics fundamentals of why this is a holographic universe. You can also watch the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And this will show you that the physicists today know that we're in a holodeck. There's also books like The Field. There are scientists and authors like Bruce Lipton and Rupert Sheldrake, which explain the holographic nature of reality. In my talk at the Free Your Mind conference in 2011, I give a list of books and movies you need to read in order to become an aware human being.